The big canvas is based on two premises. The first is derived from those Great Expectations forums that we held around the city last year during the mayoral election. Those forums told us that arts and culture are a big part of what attracts people to our region, and a big part of what keeps them here once they come. Arts and culture essentially are crown jewel assets for us, and they're deserving, most people told us at forums last year, of more support in public dollars. The second premise of the big canvas is this: if you want the public to support a new strategy around arts and culture, it might be a nice idea to start out by asking the public what it's inclined to support. Three-way conversation here today with citizens and patrons of the arts, with leaders in the sector, and with your elected officials. Three-way conversation to try to figure out what steps need to be taken to move the idea of this strategy forward. So it's with great pleasure I introduce to you Judge Marjorie Phildelphia.
Add a few thoughts of encouragement and perhaps a little bit of background as you make the final turn towards adopting a real strategy for this canvas. Arts initiative and regional funding. So I think we want the region to be, from an arts and culture standpoint, something that we envision. Something that will bring about investment and will bring about the energy and the initiative from others. You know, the climate and opportunity to invest is something that we all need to think about now. There's so many tough investments out there. This is one where there is no way, but you will get a return on your money. I mean, there is just no way. And I felt that way about the Avenue of the Arts. And it turns out that I think that has paid off in terms of investment. I'll leave on some of these grants and put together a vision that could be created for arts, regional funding of arts, the whole concept, that you put a lot of that together and there would be funding even from the arts sector of the government, let alone from other community development sectors. But, you know, we gravitate towards challenges, and if they're substantial and achievable with a little bit of stretch, I think our region really has the appetite for these type of projects. When I say substantial, achievable, with stretch and risks, well, how about Declaration of Independence? That was pretty risky, but it's pretty substantial. How about the Gross Clinic? We really do like to sink our teeth into the tough one.
How do we get to the part where we have in front of us some themes, some principles, and some action steps that constitute the groundwork for the vision that Judge Mandel asked us to think about? Phildelphia, Montgomery, Chester, Bucks, and Delaware counties, all 5 counties. And we did 2 rounds of forums, and we had more than 500 citizens participate in those, 13 forums, more than 40 breakout groups. And all of that data is available in a transparent way for people to look at on our website. The wisest strategy is to think about the intrinsic value that arts and culture play in the lives of people in the region. So they said that what we ought to do is fund artists in art making, and then support access to the arts so that people can participate in the arts and art making. Approach 2 says to nurture children's futures. Supporters of this approach believe that the wisest strategy is to focus on a cause that generates the broadest buy-in and offers the most long-term benefits, that is youth. This is the legacy that Judge Mandel spoke about. In this view, arts programs for youth, whether in school or out of school, have multiple benefits that justify public support. Arts and culture activities can expand youth horizons, snare the interest of non-traditional learners, motivate kids to stay in school, and open them to new career prospects. Approach 3 hits another topic that Judge Mandel spoke of, that is build the creative economy. This approach argues that arts and culture are integral to the battle for the region's economic survival and central to Philadelphia's efforts to become globally competitive in the creative economy. A vibrant arts and culture sector makes a region more attractive to employers, helping them recruit talented employees. The arts also boost tourism, which brings in revenue while selling the region to the world. And finally, the arts themselves provide jobs, attracting creative people who make the region a more appealing place to live. And finally, we have approach 4, which is about fostering the quality of community. Citizens said again and again that they view arts and culture as important pieces of what makes their community what it is, as a crucial element of their quality of life.
They felt if you work on arts and culture, if you prove it, you will also speak to the other issues that matter in our lives. One role of a central regional arts entity would basically be to create the template. Phildelphia is a creative center and attracting young people from all over. So at this point, we want to invite a group of arts leaders up. But first,
it's interesting. We talk about creating emphasizing the creative economy, and one of the things I was thinking about in creative economy is a part of creativity is a process of exploration and discovery. And I think in exploration and discovery, you move into uncharted areas. I think we still have a process of exploration and discovery amongst ourselves within this region. Because when you start to think about the breadth and depth of the arts and cultural community, when you look at it from a regional perspective, it's truly extraordinary.
The use of the term creative economy. I mean, that's a concept that has real heft, but I think that for many people it feels elitist. It feels like it applies to particular professions and particular industries. If I had to make a choice between putting a little more money in my pocket as an artist and supporting the organizations that create the arts infrastructure, I'd say support the organizations. Because unless there are organizations who have the capacity to present my work, who understand how to put it on the stage, how to light it, how to market it, then, I'm just, wandering around in my studio making sounds that might be delightful to me, but don't speak to other people.
The Cultural Alliance for the past 6 or 7 months is actually that we've been working on a strategic plan for our organization, and have had a lot of sort of thoughts about how to advance our own programming, and it's actually taken a very parallel path to this conversation. And so to me, the really heartening thing about this is that a lot of what we have been thinking about is what a lot of other folks have been thinking about. And so now the real trick is to figure out how to keep crossing all of those points together.
I also strongly agree about Avenue of the Arts as a model or a vision that really needs to be extended. It's one of the things I actually talked to the mayor about in the process of taking on this job, is the need for avenues of the arts, making it plural and really making it a kind of concept that extends to the whole region, about the critical importance of regional downtowns, that there isn't just one downtown, but there are places that people cluster in and look to as their center throughout the region, that there isn't just one downtown, and that the arts can play a critical role in creating a sense of place in all these different places, is the concept of embracing history and heritage as part of arts and culture. And I know that a lot of the, heritage folks often feel like when you talk about arts and culture, you're not really including heritage as part of that. You have to put this on the table in this region, the 18th century heritage of Philadelphia. But it's about neighborhoods, it's about immigrants, it's about the place that they see for themselves and their family in the community.
The smoke clears and we all go home, we all go back to work. There have to be a few people committed and passionate about making something big happen. The customer here is elected officials. I think particularly in the legislature, because we don't easily do things at a regional scale here, but as best we can, if you look around the state, it really does come back to the legislature and the governor. Of course, with the support of council, the county commissioners, and so forth and so on. I mean a literal proposal. I mean a literal piece of legislation. Because at the end of the day, legislators and governors act on legislation. And I think there's a further notion that you've got to do the homework and bring to them something that's actionable and not